As you all know, Sid loves hoarding all the miners to himself, and after decimating the entire city to delete a random side character off the face of the planet, he wakes up in the witch girl's lap, which before he can react, she steals his virginity and disappears, leaving him traumatized. Now, Sid still has to be ranked at Menace tier list, and just look at this brother's kill count and miner count. It's off the charts. Even so, he still has more to collect, so he decides to join a random tournament disguised as a guy with scoliosis. He visits his miners guild, and one of them attempts to ask him questions, which Sid quickly shuts her down and makes these kids perform cosmetic surgery on him. After putting on some clay, they ask Sid what he wants to look like.
Little Chato, what do you want to look like? A digger Chad?
Nah, I want to look kinda weak.
You want to look weak, my lord?
One of the kins then suggests that this guy named Mundane Man, who looks like he works at Mappa Animations, should be Sid. After the surgery, Sid is pleased to look like a weakling. So after breaking his limbs and back, Sid then gets approached by his lost mom, cause she begins scolding him and calling him weak. I'm not interested. You're above 18. Sid ends up bumping into this guy named Quinn, who is also looking down on Sid's new appearance.
Look, dude, I'm just trying to save your life. You will survive the tournament if you join.
The girl then walks over, which Quinn decides to stop caring and completely roasts our guy Sid.
You should know, I'm way stronger than you are.
Ahahaha, Quinn is calling you weak.
Sid ends up getting punched by the guy, but this only causes him to have an inner monologue on how to absolutely violate this man. Sid though decides to wait for the tournament and play out his fantasies, so he begins getting his butt whooped, while everyone watches and laughs. Despite the beating, Sid doesn't give up. Luckily, the knucklehead is saved by the purple-haired girl. Are you alright? I had no intentions of letting him go that far, but it was necessary to teach you a lesson. Here, let me patch you up.
There's no need. It's been a while since I tasted blood.
As Sid decides to leave, she randomly gives her name, which is Rose, who Sid has his eyes on. After exchanging names, Sid meets up with his buddy, whoever this is. He's planning to gamble his life away and keeps asking Sid for money. Sid ends up leaving and bumps into class president. After sitting down, she reveals that her father is marrying her off to some random noble named Perv. Sid doesn't really care, but class president does, cause she loves Sid. After reminiscing, Sid gives her a hamburger and they part ways. The next day, Sid and his brother is watching the match. Side character here is gambling his life savings, which this guy with the name Ever Victorious Golden Dragon appears and tries to help this guy win some bets. He's able to see power levels and calculates the big guy at 1,000 while Mundane Man is only at 1, which suddenly Mundane Man wins. It all happens so fast that everyone is confused. Rose though was able to see the attack. Goldie on the other hand plays off his mistake and tells Dude that he's gonna go up against Mundane Man and tells him to gamble all his life savings on him to win.
I'm back now.
Hey Sid, there's a fight that I know I'm gonna win, so give me all your money.
No way. The next day, Sid is woken up by terrible news that his kin stabbed her fiance to be with him. Well, I guess that would be a good thing, but she's on the run now. Even while at the tournament, Sid is worried about his kin, but he's so dumb that he doesn't realize his kin is in his stress and thinks she's just being a crazy maniac. Before his bro can ask him for money, he leaves and encounters this elf girl who can pick up the immense numbers of miners sent on him. After giving him a crappy description on who she's looking for, she expects Sid to know, but he doesn't even try to tell her the truth. Oh, I see. She then aims for his throat, which Sid is confused but knows she'll stop right in time, so he pretends to fall back. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd be stronger. I'm Beatrix. She turns out to be a sword saint, but strangely, she's already fawning over Sid. Sid isn't into MILFs, so she ends up walking off. Now, Rose and Quinn are trying to figure out what's up with Mundane Man. Goldie turns out to be a coward who always runs from strong opponents to stay undefeated, but Mundane Man is now about to run his fate. This fight soon begins and Goldie tries to cut his head off, but misses. He thinks that he's dead, but Mundane Man just pulls out his sword super slowly. Rose realizes that Mundane Man dodged that attack by cracking his neck, which she soon becomes obsessed over. As these two face off, Goldie begins ranting and roasting him. He gets angry that he almost died and decides to use a super overpowered move that gets instantly countered and his ass gets sent into the pavement. Whoa, what the hell did the Mundane Man just do? Well, if I'm correct, Mundane Man just sneezed and obliterated him. What? No way. The dragon clashed with the sneeze and the sneeze won? Rose ends up becoming a mundane glazer, which she soon prepares to watch Quinn get his hairline pushed back, which it happens so quick that he just gets buried headfirst into the dirt. The brother who's been gambling has lost all of his money thanks to Sid. Mundane Man encounters Rose and she begins acting like his stalker, which he just laughs at her. She then asks why it's so funny.
Yes, here it is.
Allow me to give you a warning. These chains I wear are chains that hold me back. playtime is over.
He tries to walk off all cool like, but Shawty is thirsty and stops him. To do what, you may ask? Well, to break her own neck, which even Sid is confused. While all of this is happening, class president is in the sewers fighting for her life to see Sid again. While he's over here pretending to play Overpowered MC, who hides his power. Well, he kinda is already. Sid ends up waking up to another bad news. His brother is so down bad and broke that he's now trying to capture class president, who has a huge bounty on her head. Sid isn't interested though and doesn't realize the madness that is happening in this country, as dude is trying to convince Sid to give him money. Sid thinks about class president, but notices his precious big sister approaching. He quickly gets stressed and grabs his guy to escape his sister. By the way, I still don't know this guy's name. Sid wanders around the city looking for class president, but then hears his theme song being played by someone. As he wonders who's playing it, he discovers that it's one of his me writers, who's legit just completely pirated his stuff. Afterwards, they meet up and have tea. Turns out that this girl here, I think is Epsilon, is using his knowledge provided in the past to monopolize it. After gathering some info, Sid leaves, but not after rizzing up some minors.
Your figure is lovely as ever, Epsilon.
You're too kind. Humble Epsilon is still nowhere near what she should be.
Class president is in the sewers, freaking dying. She's doing all of this for Sid, who gave her a hamburger wrapper. It was also cause she realized her father was being drugged by her fiance, and these guys are all cultists who have taken over the capital. As class president is hopelessly falling apart and losing her will to fight, she notices her hamburger wrapper that is still with her.
Oh, Sid, I wish I could marry you. If only fairy tales were real.
She notices that the pneumonic infection is spreading throughout her body, and none of her dreams will come true. Then suddenly, she hears piano. It's the theme song of him. She follows it to the source, and it leads her to a beautiful graveyard for statues. The atmosphere is absolutely ethereal, and she sees the man himself, Shadow. The music comes to a close, and Shadow tests her resolve to continue fighting for her future. He then offers his power to her, and she gratefully accepts, not realizing with this, she too will become part of the Minecraft Players Guild.
Never forget, true strength comes from the heart.
Shadow leaves and the enemy begins surrounding her. They are fast, but with her new powers, she turns them into nothingness. Also, you know that piano that was there? Well, Sid randomly stole it and brought it down here to look cool. Sid is smiling to himself about the whole ordeal, but he encounters his sister, who looks at him with a horrifying expression. Now, Sid is always trying to avoid his sister, cause she's a brother lover. And now that she's caught him, it's all over for Sid, cause she's now on top of him, choking him out. So after some Alabama moments, his sister makes him sit at a VIP seat to make him watch her upcoming match. He encounters the strongest knight, Iris, and she ends up apologizing for her sister Alexia's behalf, which Sid then leaves to prepare for his match with Rose. He tries to pass Beatrix, but she calls him out for ignoring her. She ends up giving him some buns, and he returns the favor by giving her his buns. Mundane Man finally shows up to his next fight. Rose thinks that she can defeat Mundane, and as the fight starts, she dashes at him with lightning speed. Mundane Man though does a perfect parry, but Rose expected this and delivers a bunch of counter slashes. She attempts to overwhelm him and somehow manages to land a deciding blow, but Mundane Man appears behind her and tells her it was a freaking after image before disappearing and smacking her into the air. Rose then gets comboed mid-air and sent into outer space. Mundane Man then appears and smacks her back into Earth. She's like, damn, who made this guy the main character, and prepares to go all out. They have a standoff, which Mundane Man then disappears and she attempts to counter him and finish him, but Mundane Man somehow manages to stop just in time and she easily gets finished on. The red-haired chick Princess Iris is up next and she thinks that she can easily kill this overpowered side character. After the fight, Rose approaches Mundane Man all caked up. They end up shaking hands, which Mundane Man tells her that he has to go. Rose responds by telling him that he could get in bed with her anytime. Unfortunately though, they didn't get married because this gorilla just annihilated her opponent with one move. Sid returns home while thinking about how much of a genius he is. He doesn't realize his sister from Alabama is waiting for him again. Also, by the way guys, Sid's army of coal miners is at around 200 currently, and it's only the beginning. The final battle is coming up, which Sid is sipping coffee. Red-haired girl ends up leading Beatrix to sit alongside Sid, who wants to stay a side character, but is now surrounded by beautiful maidens instead of his usual miners. Does anyone catch your attention?
There's one. It's Sid.
Sid?
Sid? Sid has caught my attention. I'm sure he will grow stronger.
No, I won't. That's ridiculous.
This side character? There's no way he'll get stronger.
He doesn't even come close to being as good as his sister, Claire Cogano.
Cogano? You don't mean the son of that Baldy?
Well, if that is what the Lady Beatrix believes, then I am certain she must be right.
This country is quickly going downhill as the king is being used and drugged. The guy behind this is beginning to get worried that Mundane Man might cause a problem. Red-haired girl Princess Iris finally makes it to the ring in front of this infamous Mundane Man. As the match begins, her head instantly gets cut off. She suddenly backs away and rolls onto the ground. Iris is really confused and realizes that Mundane Man is so powerful that she's being killed without Mundane Man doing anything. She tries to overcome her fear and step into Mundane Man's range, but her ankle gets cut instantly. She realizes that this guy might be him. Her arm then gets cut and then her leg. To the audience, she looks like she's having a mental breakdown, which everyone begins doubting her, causing her to go absolutely berserk and go Super Saiyan. She charges at Mundane and realizes that Mundane never even pulled out his blade. Mundane Man then parried her before slamming her into the ground and putting a sword to her neck.
What's wrong, Swordmaster? We're just getting started.
As everyone is confused and in an uproar, class president comes back for her father. The perpetrator moves aside, which she kneels down and apologizes for everything. Her father then suddenly tells her that he forgives her. She then thanks him and dashes forward before killing him to put him out of his misery.
What the hell? You crazy maniac!
This is my official act as princess. Mundane Man suddenly appears and instantly slaughters everyone. He then transforms into Shadow.
But you can't be.
My name is Shadow. My name is Shadow.
The stylish bandit slayer.
Princess Class President then begins glazing this brother and telling her that she's been a simp since day one. In fact, she was the first miner in his army. Sid saved her in the past, which was when he was still calling himself Stylish Bandit Slayer. That goofy ass name. You have been the Stylish Bandit Slayer all along, haven't you?
Bruh, please don't remind me of that trash name.
After exchanging words of encouragement, Princess Class President runs away. As Shadow Garden has taken over, the sword guard Beatrix clashes with Sid, leading to the destruction of the entire stadium. As Shadow and Beatrix clash at lightning speed, they both jump back, which Sid, as he does, steps forward and in an instant appears behind her. Beatrix manages to block the attack but gets parried. Shadow just walks past her, which she is absolutely baffled. Shadow begins dominating her with his lightning speed, and after one last hit, she gets sent flying. She still manages to get up and asks,
You were standing right in front of me.
What's the matter? We're just getting started.
Suddenly, Iris shows up and tells Shadow she wants her wands back and begins unsheathing her overpowered blade. Shadow calls her out for using an artifact to get an advantage, causing her to get angry and activates this blade, which turns into a massive sword of flames. She wipes him out of existence, which Shadow suddenly appears behind her with a grin, but he once again gets launched with fire. As Iris thinks that she got him, Shadow reappears and thanks her for the light show. Beatrix then appears and begins clashing with Shadow, which Iris quickly joins the battle. The fight ends up in the busy streets, which Iris clashes with Shadow and is actually keeping up with him. Beatrix tries to sneak him, but Shadow blocks it, which Iris takes advantage of this opening and smashes him into the building. Shadow though just freaking grins, and as Iris dashes in, Shadow spawns his crowbars and blocks both of these kings all at once. He then kicks Iris back into the abyss, which Beatrix and him begin fighting. The battle was so powerful and fast that it completely destroys the entire city just from their exchange. You can hear the screams of thousands of people being instantly murked. Beatrix lands on the train, which as Shadow does the same. Iris shows up and tries to sneak him again, but this time gets parried and ends up having to step back. The fight can be seen from space, which Iris is wondering who Shadow is.
Aha, everything but me is but a fake persona. I am Shadow.
Iris realizes bro is delusional and attempts to overpower him, but gets sent rolling back. Beatrix then comes in and asks if she can join his harem. Shadow though just says,
Aha, you have to prove yourself worthy of joining my guild of coal miners.
They see that this man is getting away, so they decide to follow him, but he begins using magic for the first time and sends a bunch of water droplets at them. Princess Iris though counters him by sending a blast at him. Shadow easily dodges this and contemplates what he should have for dinner, but these meat riders attempt to sneak him, but he just smacks Iris into the water and makes her wet. Beatrix and him are now fighting. She does something weird that instantly cuts his crowbars, which has Roses peacefully sipping about the thought of Mundane Man. They appear and destroy the place. The entire tower is even taking damage. Beatrix thinks she has Shadow and attempts to cut him, but Shadow reappears behind her. This time though, she blocks it with ease.
You're pretty good, but you lack what truly matters.
Iris appears and tries to send him to hell, but Shadow devours her attack with ease. He sends Iris back before throwing Beatrix over.
You both lack balls.
The fight comes to a standstill, which Shadow dares them to come. Iris then does something that makes the animation turn into this. She tries to cut him down, but Shadow disarms her, and as she tries to eat him, he knees her in the chin. This was all a ploy to let Beatrix power up. Beatrix then lunges at him and manages to parry Shadow. She tries to finish him, but misses, giving Shadow the chance to grab her beautiful thighs and pick her up like the Undertaker and slam her onto Princess Iris. Shadow decides to turn these two into sandwiches and walks past them like they are nothing. He's pretty shocked that these girls can still move, which Iris tells him that everyone is his enemies, but she must now know that Shadow is that guy. He begins grinning and laughing like a literal menace, like a freaking supervillain, and after demonstrating that he's not a sane person, he says,
Run away? Who's running? Running where?
Why would I run?
Shadow prepares to delete the entire country off the face of the map and tells them that playtime is over.
Now observe my new kittens and witness for yourselves my earth-shattering, my sky-rending, supremely ultimate, mighty, unparalleled attack.
News appears about this, which Sherry gets wind of. She has turned completely crazy compared to the last episodes, and she's also now a yandere who wants to kill Shadow. Shadow though is peacefully hanging out with one of his buddies. The other one is in debt and working on a fishing boat. The side character reveals that Shadow is now being called Demon Shadow. Now the thing is, Princess Class President has joined the army of miners. Alpha the leader leads her to a secret city packed full of Shadow meat riders. Alpha then introduces her to this girl who will be training Class President into a good miner. The woman then deletes Class President's clothes, which I will blur. Class President tries to save the hamburger paper Sid gave her, but it gets freaking deleted as well. Now it turns out this brother Sid has freaking gathered like 666 maidens. I can't call them all miners since they all leveled up. Class President has become the 666. That's how I know. 666 is not nearly enough, so it's time for him to visit a city packed full of kittens. If you guys want to see part 3 where this brother begins trolling his entire harem and even attacking them, the arc where he betrays his own maidens. Calm down. It's almost Christmas, guys, so make sure you guys go check out the 100kg gripper down in the description. Also, there's a sale on it, as well as new merch for Calistoic coming out.